Hi, Criminal Justice. It's Mrs. White. I understand Mrs. Lataki has assigned another writing assignment, and this is a little different than what you've worked on in the past. She has assigned a technical writing piece. It's a mechanism description, and she's asking you to write about handcuffs. So what she's asking you to do is to find a picture of a particular type of handcuffs. I believe it's the handcuffs that involve a chain between the cuffs, a chain set. I'm not sure exactly what she calls it because I don't know your proper nomenclature. So what she's saying is that it's as if you're working as a student intern and your supervisors asked you to complete a report to show that you know the parts of the handcuffs. The supervisor is interested in knowing that you understand the purpose of each part and that you can refer to the parts and use the proper terminology or nomenclature. So what the end result is that if you were needing to testify in a civil liability case, you might have to explain all this so the jury could understand. And your supervisor wants to be confident that you're the right person for the job. So what you'll be doing is a little different than essays that you might have done in the past. You have an assignment sheet that looks a lot like this, and you also have one posted at my website as well. So what you should do is decide the most important parts for your audience, use a graphic organizer, and you might even watch somebody use the equipment just so you can pay attention to the parts that are important. So this format will involve a title. You'll center the title on your paper. You'll have a very brief introduction, and that'll just talk overall. It will describe the handcuffs and talk about the purposes of the handcuffs, and then you'll preview the important parts you're going to discuss. The body of the paper is not an essay. You're going to divide the mechanism into each important part, and probably you're going to have around 10 parts, give or take a couple. And so you'll discuss each part in a separate heading. You'll use the correct name for each part, and you'll put the headings in the order that you introduced them in your introduction when you previewed them. So for each part, you'll give a physical description, that is what it looks like. You'll describe what it's made up of, the size, the color, and you'll talk about the location of each part. Then you'll discuss the purpose or function of the part. And so basically you should start with one section and move probably from the left to the right, because that's how we read, or top to bottom, because that's also how we read. If you want to, you could use bottom to top, but that's the opposite of how our eyes trained as we had learned to read. So the idea is not to explain how to operate the mechanism. You're supposed to describe each part and talk about what it looks like and what the part does. So someone who's unfamiliar with handcuffs could read your report and really understand. And one important thing is, don't overload your sentences with too much information, but make sure you have a complete sentence for each part. So you'll need to find a drawing that you'll label, and that will kind of drive the wording that you use to explain the mechanism. One big thing to note, be sure to use complete sentences. Be sure to describe each part and explain what each part does. So here's a model. And because this is not common knowledge, parts of our equipment here at BOCES are not common knowledge, you'll need to use what's called a signal phrase, and you'll need to let your audience know where you got the information from, just as this writer has with the parts of a hair cutting scissors model. So this person used Milady's Standard Cosmetology 2008, which is their textbook, to find the information about all the parts of hair cutting scissors. So that's a signal phrase that lets the author know, or the reader know the title of where you got your information from. It could include the author. It could also include the year of publication. And this is an APA style with the title, because there's no particular author of this book, and then a year of publication. Then this person, the reader, went through and described what hair cutting scissors do. They enable a cosmetologist to cut a client's hair. Then the writer talked about what types of cuts the scissors can use and can be used for, and it also previewed the parts, and this is important. So the last sentence of the introduction includes all the important parts that the author is going to write about. Now, there's probably many more parts in hair cutting scissors. If you broke it down to every little tiny piece, but these are the most important. So then you can see this is not organized like an essay. It's a piece of technical writing, something you might find in an employee manual. So basically, here's the first part of the hair cutting scissors, the thumb ferrule, and then you can see there's a complete sentence that describes what it looks like and where it's located and what it does. It's where the thumb goes, and you can tell if you had a pair of scissors, you could easily identify the thumb ferrule from the description here. Then it goes into shanks, and it talks about what the shanks do, where they're located, and so you can just see it's pretty brief, and again, it's not paragraph form, but it is written in complete sentences, and that's very important. So at the very end, there's this very brief conclusion. According to the text, there are several important pairs and parts included in a pair of hair cutting scissors. The parts described in this report are the most important. And then again, it has author and page number to wrap up that citation. So your job is to find the information, whether it's a textbook or on the internet, and complete the report. There's a rubric here. It's sideways, sorry about that. But you can see the most important things here. One big error, people fail to write in complete sentences and lose big time points for that. Make sure you follow the format. Your paper should look like the paper that we just reviewed, that model paper on hair cutting scissors. However, of course, your information will be on handcuffs. And then also make sure that you cite the information, because the parts of handcuffs are not common knowledge. This is not information that we just knew or that we generated ourselves. This is information that came from a source. Here's something that might help you out. It'll just prompt you through the introduction and the preview, and then each part, the part name, the description, what it's used for. At the very end, you can put in your conclusion, and don't forget to cite. You can see my signal phrase video for more help with that. Good luck.